Hello, beautiful listeners, and welcome back to Green Earth Essentials. Imagine a world where clean, limitless energy flows freely across continents, where climate change is no longer a looming threat, and where humanity works together as one planetary family. This isn't a science fiction fantasy, it's the next step in our evolution. Scientists call it a Type 1 civilization, and right now, Earth is on the path toward it, but we are far from reaching that destination. Today, we're going to explore what it really means to achieve Type 1 status on the Kardashev Scale, why it matters for our survival, and how each of us, yes, even you, plays a role in making it happen. In 1964, a Soviet astrophysicist named Nikolai Kardashev proposed a new way of measuring a civilization's technological advancement, not by counting its inventions, but by determining how much energy it could harness and use efficiently. The Kardashev Scale describes three main stages of development. A Type 1 civilization can use all the available energy on its home planet. A Type 2 civilization has the ability to harness all the energy from its star, perhaps by building massive solar collectors in orbit, or even surrounding the star entirely. A Type 3 civilization can access all the energy of its entire galaxy. Right now, Earth sits at about 0.73 on this scale, which means we use a significant amount of energy, but far less than the full potential our planet offers. Much of what we do harness is still generated through dirty, inefficient, and wasteful methods. Our next great milestone will be reaching Type 1. A true Type 1 civilization would have complete mastery over every form of planetary energy, from the sunlight striking deserts and rooftops, to the wind currents sweeping across oceans, to the steady geothermal heat deep within the earth. Even the rhythmic pull of the moon on our tides would be harnessed, providing clean, endless power. Controlled nuclear fusion, a process that mimics the sun itself, would provide a steady baseline of energy, creating a world where power shortages are a thing of the past. The planet would be connected by a unified global energy grid capable of instantly transferring power from regions of abundance to regions in need. Imagine a storm knocking out power in one corner of the globe, but within seconds, surplus energy from another hemisphere flows in seamlessly, restoring light and heat without disruption. This grid would be intelligent and self-balancing, constantly analyzing demand and adjusting output in real time so that waste becomes almost non-existent. But energy alone doesn't define Type 1 status. It's also about seamless global integration in every aspect of life. Communication networks would be instantaneous and universally accessible. So, whether you live in a remote mountain village or the center of a bustling city, you would have equal access to education, healthcare resources, and the world's collective knowledge. Language barriers could be instantly bridged by real-time translation technologies, making international collaboration as simple as having a conversation with your neighbor. Climate regulation and disaster prevention systems would operate as a kind of planetary immune system, monitoring weather patterns, tectonic activity, and atmospheric changes. Hurricanes could be weakened before landfall, droughts mitigated through intelligent water management, and agricultural systems fine-tuned to maintain food security in the face of changing conditions. These systems would not simply react to crises, but prevent them before they begin. Resource management would be fully sustainable, designed to ensure that the needs of the present are met without compromising the ability of future generations to thrive. Materials would flow through a closed-loop economy where nothing becomes waste and everything is recycled, repurposed, or composted back into the earth. Manufacturing would draw from renewable resources, powered entirely by clean energy, and global trade would be optimized for minimal environmental impact. In short, a Type 1 world is a civilization living in harmony with its planet rather than competing against it. A place where human progress no longer comes at the expense of nature, but works in tandem with it. It is a society that has learned to see Earth not as a resource to be consumed, but as a partner to be cared for and respected. So, why aren't we there yet? The answer lies in a mix of technological, political, and cultural barriers. We remain heavily dependent on fossil fuels, which damage the environment and destabilize the climate. Much of our economy is built on short-term gains rather than long-term planetary health. Political fragmentation creates a world where nations often compete for resources rather than working together to share them. Economic inequality means that while some regions advance technologically, others struggle to provide even basic infrastructure. And then there's the human factor. Getting over 8 billion people to agree on a unified path forward is one of the greatest challenges imaginable. On top of these structural obstacles, there is also the challenge of human psychology. Change on a planetary scale requires trust, patience, and a willingness to sacrifice immediate comfort for long-term survival, traits that don't always align with our instincts. Fear of change, resistance from entrenched industries, and misinformation campaigns can slow progress or turn public opinion against transformative solutions. Even when the science is clear, it can be difficult to inspire people to alter their daily habits or to convince governments to take bold, coordinated action. In many ways, the hardest hurdle is not building the technology, but building the collective will to use it wisely. Reaching Type 1 status would require a leap in technology across multiple fronts, the kind of transformation that reshapes every aspect of life on Earth. Our renewable energy systems would need to expand beyond national borders and into a truly planetary network. Imagine vast solar farms stretching across sun-rich deserts like the Sahara and the Australian outback, generating enough electricity to power entire continents. Offshore wind installations would capture the relentless ocean breezes, their blades turning silently above the waves, while tidal power plants would transform the steady rhythm of the seas into electricity day and night. Deep beneath our feet, geothermal stations would tap into the planet's natural heat, providing constant carbon-free energy that never runs out. To make this work, we would need to master advanced energy storage technologies far beyond today's capabilities. Our current batteries, while improving, are not yet ready for the demands of a planetary grid. In a Type 1 world, we would have storage systems that could hold surplus energy for days or even weeks without losing efficiency, whether through ultra-efficient solid-state batteries, liquid metal storage, or large-scale hydrogen systems that store renewable power as clean fuel. This would mean that energy generated during peak conditions, such as bright summer days or high winds, could be saved and used during still dark periods anywhere in the world. Our electrical grids themselves would need to evolve into intelligent, adaptive systems that behave less like static infrastructure and more like living, responsive networks. Artificial intelligence would constantly monitor weather patterns, energy production, and usage, predicting changes before they happen, and shifting power flow instantly to prevent shortages or waste. A factory in Brazil could be powered in part by wind energy generated in Scotland, while a hospital in India could draw on solar power from Australia during an emergency. This kind of dynamic grid would erase the concept of energy scarcity for good. Beyond energy generation and distribution, we would need to completely reimagine manufacturing. Instead of producing goods that are designed to wear out and be discarded, industries would be built around closed-loop systems where every material is endlessly reused. Products would be designed for easy disassembly with parts and raw materials recovered and cycled back into production rather than ending up in landfills. Factories would run entirely on renewable energy, and their processes would emit nothing harmful into the air, soil, or water. These changes, however, cannot be limited to a handful of wealthy nations if we hope to truly reach Type 1 status. The technologies that enable planetary energy mastery and sustainable production must be universally accessible, shared freely or affordably so that no country or community is left behind. A Type 1 civilization cannot be built on inequality. It demands a cooperative framework where knowledge, resources, and innovation are exchanged across borders for the benefit of the entire human family. In such a world, a breakthrough in one country becomes an advancement for all, because the survival and flourishing of the species would take precedence over the competition of nations. Technology alone cannot make a Type 1 civilization. Solar panels, fusion reactors, and smart grids might give us the tools, but without a corresponding shift in human culture and consciousness, those tools could just as easily be misused or left to gather dust. To truly reach this milestone, we would need a fundamental change in how we see ourselves and our place in the world. The idea of identity would have to expand beyond nationality, race, religion, or political affiliation. We would need to think of ourselves first and foremost as earthlings, members of a single shared home whose destinies are inseparably linked. This shift would need to begin with education. Schools would not only teach math and science, but also planetary stewardship as a core value, instilling in children an understanding that their everyday choices ripple across ecosystems and communities. Instead of focusing only on short-term benefits like quarterly profits or political cycles, education would encourage long-term thinking that spans generations. Students would be taught to ask, how will this decision affect my grandchildren and their grandchildren after them? This sense of stewardship would not be an abstract lesson, but a lived value reinforced through community projects, ecological restoration, and global cooperation programs that connect students from across the world. Culturally, societies would need to embrace cooperation as a survival strategy. For centuries, humanity has operated on the assumption that resources are finite and competition is the only way forward. But in a Type 1 world, cooperation would be the currency of survival. Nations would share energy breakthroughs instead of hoarding them, and communities would collaborate across borders to solve environmental challenges. Rivalries over land water, and fuel would give way to collective management of the planet's systems because everyone would understand that ecological collapse in one region inevitably affects the whole. This shift would also require a transformation in our media, our stories, and our myths. Right now, much of popular culture glorifies conflict, consumption, and competition. A Type 1 civilization would begin to tell different stories, ones that highlight resilience, interconnection, and care for the earth. Music, film, and art would celebrate humanity's ability to live in balance with nature rather than endlessly exploit it. Spiritual and philosophical traditions might converge on a shared reverence for the planet itself, not erasing cultural differences, but weaving them together into a larger planetary narrative. Some scientists and futurists suggest that this cultural transition is more than just desirable. It is a kind of evolutionary test, sometimes referred to as the Great Filter. The idea is that many civilizations across the cosmos may never make it past this stage. They develop advanced technology but fail to align their values with their capabilities, eventually collapsing under the weight of their own contradictions. To pass through the filter, humanity would have to prove that it can mature, that it can use its power wisely instead of destructively. In this sense, reaching Type 1 is not just a technological goal, but a moral and spiritual milestone. It is the point where humanity grows up and takes responsibility for the home that gave it life. The benefits of becoming a Type 1 civilization are staggering. We could achieve true energy abundance without causing harm to the environment. Climate stability would be within reach, and large-scale disasters could be predicted and even prevented. Humanity could unite around shared goals, fostering peace and cooperation on a global scale. With a stable and abundant energy base, we could lay the foundation for venturing beyond our planet, taking the first real steps toward becoming a Type 2 civilization capable of harnessing the energy of our sun. Ultimately, reaching Type 1 would mean humanity has not just survived, but learned to thrive for thousands, perhaps even millions of years to come. Beyond the practical benefits, reaching Type 1 would also transform the human spirit. With the constant struggle over limited resources eased, creativity, science, and culture could flourish on a scale never seen before. Education could become truly universal, and global collaboration in art, research, and exploration could redefine what it means to be human. Instead of being divided by borders and scarcity, we could be united by curiosity and possibility. A shared planetary identity would open the door to a new kind of renaissance, one where our greatest challenges become the fuel for our greatest achievements. Of course, every leap forward comes with risks. One of the greatest challenges of reaching Type 1 status is ensuring that power, both literal and figurative, is distributed fairly. Who controls the global energy grid? Who decides how resources are allocated? Without careful planning and ethical safeguards, it's possible that technological advancements could deepen inequality rather than eliminate it. There's also the danger of advanced technology being misused for warfare or oppression. The vision of a Type 1 future is only worth pursuing if it leads to a better life for everyone, not just a select few. Despite the challenges, there are reasons for hope. Renewable energy adoption is accelerating faster than many experts predicted just a decade ago. International collaborations, such as the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor in France, are working toward the holy grail of energy production, nuclear fusion. Our communication systems have already connected much of the planet in ways that would have been unthinkable a century ago. These developments may be small steps on the Kardashev scale, but they are steps in the right direction. We can also see progress in the growing global awareness of planetary stewardship. Movements towards sustainability, conservation, and circular economies are gaining traction across industries and communities. From reforestation projects and ocean cleanup initiatives to grassroots efforts in regenerative agriculture, people around the world are beginning to recognize that survival and prosperity depend on working in harmony with Earth's systems. These cultural shifts, while less tangible than technological breakthroughs, are equally vital signs that humanity is starting to think and act on a planetary scale. So, what role can we play in this grand transformation? It begins with small personal actions that collectively shape the future. We can choose to reduce our own energy footprints through the way we travel, the products we buy, and the food we eat. We can support leaders, innovators, and policies that prioritize renewable energy and sustainable infrastructure. And we can share knowledge because a Type 1 world will be built on openness, collaboration, and a willingness to learn from each other. Every choice we make moves us closer to or further from that planetary goal. Becoming a Type 1 civilization is not a distant fantasy. It is the next chapter in humanity's story. The question is not whether it's possible, but whether we will choose to write it as a story of unity, abundance, and care for our shared home. Thank you for joining me today on Green Earth Essentials. If this episode sparked your imagination, Please share it with a friend, leave a review, and help spread the vision of a sustainable planetary future. You can also support my work on Patreon at patreon.com/Green Earth Essentials. Together we can imagine and create a world that works for everyone. This is Michelle Jackson signing off.